Let me introduce you to Julian, a man who, after 8 years of marriage, was betrayed by the person he trusted most. He didn't respond with anger or confrontation, but with a quiet, methodical plan. His story shows that true power isn't loud. It's legal and strategic. The divorce. She laughed. The ink was barely dry on the divorce papers. And she laughed like she'd already won, as if I was the fool. Her nails tapped the mahogany table as she slid the final page across to the clerk. Her scarlet lips curled into a smile, her smug eyes avoiding mine. As if I didn't matter, as if I hadn't once been her everything. I just nodded to the judge, calm and controlled. Because the real moment wasn't the signing, it was the reading. The judge cleared his throat and adjusted his glasses. Then read the final declaration of assets. In that moment, her world stopped, frozen, right there in her designer heels. I didn't even blink. We were married for 8 years. I met her at a gallery opening. She was sipping red wine, barefoot in a sundress that was too expensive for someone who claimed to just love art. But I fell hard. She laughed like she meant it back then, not like that hollow little chuckle in court. We built a life, or so I thought. The first crack. I worked late nights, building my company from the ground up. She said she supported me and understood. It turns out she just understood how to play the long game. The first crack wasn't dramatic. At first, it was a phone lighting up at 2 a.m. with a name I didn't recognize. She said it was a work friend and that I was being paranoid. I didn't push. I didn't scream. I just watched. Then came the girls' weekends to Dubai. The late-night whispers in the kitchen when she thought I was asleep. The sudden change in her perfume, her locked phone, and a shift in her eyes like she was already somewhere else. Finally, there was a charge on her joint credit card for a 5-star hotel in our city. One she didn't visit with me. I didn't confront her. I just took note. My pain turned into purpose. You don't corner a liar with noise. You trap them with silence. The plan. I made my moves. First, I moved our money quietly and strategically. I created new companies, sold off stocks, and hid what didn't need to be seen. I transferred ownership of my intellectual properties, shifted trademarks, and put my company under a trust, one she couldn't touch. I even hired a forensic accountant to clean the trail. Next, I hired a private investigator. It only took 3 weeks to get photos, receipts, and videos. Her and the work friend, a tanned, muscular man who sold fake cryptocurrency seminars online. They weren't subtle. She thought she was untouchable. I let her think that. Let her believe I was the naive husband who would never dare fight back. Meanwhile, I built my case. The moment she said she wanted a divorce, I agreed too quickly. That shook her. She expected me to beg, maybe have a breakdown. Instead, I offered her tea. We filed for divorce amicably on paper, but the silence between us was a war zone. She assumed she'd get half the house, half the business, half the future. She giggled with her lawyer during the first settlement meeting. She wore white to the final court date, as if this was some kind of wedding. The final moments. And then the judge began reading. Her smile stayed for the first few seconds. After a thorough examination of financial disclosures and corporate structuring, it is concluded that the business in question is no longer under sole ownership, but held entirely by an irrevocable trust and is, therefore, not subject to division under the current marital assets. That was the first crack in her expression. Then he continued, the cars are leased. The house is technically owned by my holding company, and I was simply paying rent. The bank accounts were moved, clean and untraceable. The only money she was entitled to was the $42,000 in liquid assets under my name. That's all. Not half, not millions, just scraps. Her fingers went still. The laughter was gone. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Her lawyer leaned in, whispering, panicking. I didn't look at her. I looked through her. She tried to speak to the judge, to me, to God, but I was done listening. She filed first, but I finished it. She cheated, but I destroyed the illusion. She wanted freedom. I gave her exactly that, freedom without fortune, freedom without comfort, and freedom without me. Outside the courthouse, I stood alone. She stormed past me, face pale, lips tight. No more smugness, no more laughs. She didn't even make eye contact, but I did. I watched every step she took away from me, every shaky, humiliated breath. I felt nothing but clarity. They always say revenge is a dish best served cold. They're wrong. It's best served legal, strategic, and surgical, served with a signature and a smile. Let her laugh again. This time, it will be in a 2-bedroom. Rental with credit card debt and a man who thinks. Bitcoin is a personality. I'll keep building, quietly, powerfully, alone. Because peace after betrayal isn't found in noise. It's found in the silence after a storm. And I've never heard silence sound so good.